Hey friends, this is Tasha. Subscribe to my channel, Tasha Ford. Like the video and share the video. So today I'll be discussing genograms. And genograms are they're similar to a family tree, but it's in more detail as far as your family's history. So if you want to get to the root of things, if you want to know where different issues come from, then a genogram is a perfect thing for you to utilize. And genograms can also be used for like if you want to track medical issues from your family, like diabetes, high blood pressure, what have you, you can use a genogram to track which one of your family members actually had a challenge with this particular issue. So in my case, I'll be doing my genogram on pretty much addictions. So that's what I'll be talking about, just to raise the awareness on where these issues are coming from. Because a lot of times we have issues that our mother's mother dealt with or our father's fathers dealt with. And now that we are faced with this issue and this challenge, and we're having such a difficult time getting past it, and we don't understand why. And a lot of times our children are facing issues that we faced, or that, may have skipped a generation back, and it may be something that the grandparents are dealing with. So you have this issue that has been passed down from generation to generation to generation. And sometimes we don't see it as an issue because it seems so normal, because all of our family has done it. And so now when you try to correct the issue, once you've realized that you probably can't control it, you don't know how to, or it's so difficult to, and you just want to keep doing it, or you want to give up and just have all these wild and crazy thoughts about this particular issue. So the issues that I'll be discussing today is gambling issues, drug and alcohol issues, drug and alcohol addiction issues, sex addictions, and sexual abuse. So all of these things are prevalent in many families. So I created a genogram of a mock family that has these issues, and you'll see the symbols that I have that's indicating the type of issues. So I'll go over that, but right now we're going to get right into the genogram. So I have to get up and switch the camera around just so I can explain this. So I'll be a little more tech savvy later on, but hold on. Okay, so here is the genogram, and it's from 4 generations. So if you see at the bottom, you'll see the scale, and let me try to come in a little bit. So these are the symbols. The square is the male, the female is the circle, the little red zigzag, that's sexual abuse. The blue dashed line is sex addiction. And then the neon green, that's drug and alcohol addiction. And then you have the orange diamond, which is gambling addiction. So here, when you look at the family tree or the genogram, you have 4 generations up here. So at the very top, the top line up here, this is the first generation up here. And you can see the first generation is, you have the different issues such as drug and alcohol, from the grandfather or the great-grandfather, depending on where you are on the genogram. And then now this is the maternal side, but then on the paternal side, you have the drug and addiction, you have the gambling addiction, and then again on the mother's, on the maternal side, you have the gambling addiction as well. So let me go here. So for the sake of this genogram, so this would be me here. I'm Tammy. These are my siblings, Monica, Victor, and Tyrone. This is Tyrone's son, Tyrone Jr., Victor's son, Josh. Monica doesn't have any children. and I have a son named Matthew. So here you can see that Matthew has an issue with sex addiction. You can see that I have an issue as far as sexual abuse and also drug and alcohol abuse. Monica has an issue with gambling addiction. Victor, gambling addiction and drug and alcohol abuse. Tyrone, drug or alcohol abuse. And then you see our children have issues as well. So here it is. These are my siblings here, and these are our parents, Melvin and Patricia. Okay, so Melvin and Patricia met, had children, and we are the children. Okay, so let's say on Patricia, this is Patricia's side of the family. So this is Patricia's mother, Linda, and her father, John. So Linda and John got together, got married, had children, which would be my mother, Patricia, my uncle, William, and my uncle, John Jr., which had a daughter named Melissa. So here is my father's side of the family, which is Melvin. So this is Melvin's sister, Barbara. So Melvin's mother is Sarah. Melvin's father is Robert, which would be me here. So that would be my grandmother and my grandfather on my father's side. So here, this would be my grandmother and my grandfather on my mother's side. So when you look at the different issues that are faced, you have the drug and alcohol abuse, you have the gambling addiction, you have it on this first generation, and then here on down to the second generation, you have the gambling addiction, sexual abuse, drug and alcohol, sex addiction, drug and alcohol. Down to the third generation, you have the issues that I was faced with, and then what my siblings have, and then our children have issues as well. So let's say that one of our children had a drug and alcohol abuse and we wanted to get them help. So here it is, we're trying to figure out why Josh cannot stop drinking or cannot stop smoking. He's lost his job, can't keep a job, just having financial issues. His girlfriend that's not listed has threatened to leave him several times if he doesn't straighten his life up. So Josh has tried several times to straighten his life up. He hasn't yet really tried rehab, but because he's too embarrassed, but he's just really been trying to deal with it on his own. So what we have here, what Josh probably has not considered, is that this goes way back to the other generations. So Josh is trying to face something that is in his genetic makeup. This is something that his parents faced. This is something that his grandparents faced. And he's confused as to why he can't stop this issue, not realizing that this is something that is in the makeup of his family. So when you are dealing with issues, whether it's a gambling addiction, drug addiction, sex addiction, you want to consider who in your family has faced this before. And it's so uncommon for people that are in families and have these issues where they don't want to seek help, because a lot of times they don't realize that there is an issue. Or when they get to the point of realizing that there's an issue, there's a lot of embarrassment that goes along with it. There's a lot of guilt. There's a lot of shame. There's a lot of self-hate when you realize you can't stop this issue, but you see everything in your life, it has really been dwindling away because you have this issue that you thought you can control, but now you can't. So just maybe you all can do a genogram of your own family's history to see what issues that your family has struggled with. And if you want to relate this to a spiritual light, then you can say these are some of the generational curses that your family has gone through, and you want to know how to break these curses in a spiritual light. So I want to encourage you that if you are faced with this issue or another issue, or could be something that's medical, that you want to track your family's history. So I encourage you to do one of these to see what the underlying issue is and where these problems are coming from, because you don't know, or you may not know, just how much it has affected your bloodline just from 4 generations ago, 3 generations ago, 2 generations ago. And so you don't want your offspring to have to face the same issue that you struggled with. So if you just really just attack this right here, whatever your issue is, if you just schedule a plan of attack or go seek counseling and talk with a professional about how you can break this generational curse, or how you can break this cycle so that you can live a healthier lifestyle. And when your grandchildren or your great grandchildren do a genogram one day, they won't necessarily have to trace something back to you negatively that you've never overcome. And it's still something that's prevalent among the family's path and bloodline in history. So you want to make sure that you take care of yourself and you resolve all your issues before it's continued to be passed down to your offspring, to your grandchildren, your great grandchildren. And so this is one way to enlighten yourself. Just put it on paper and just really be honest about what issues your families are facing, so that you can know what steps you need to take. And one of the most important steps that you can take is first realizing that there's an issue that you need more help with. And the second step is discussing professional help with family members. And one thing I want to say with family members, you have to be supportive. Here it is, if you're a husband, your wife, your children, your mother, whoever it is that's seeking help, you have to be supportive. You can't call them drug addicts, or you can't call them alcoholics. You can't have these labels and call them names, which further tears them down. So you have to be supportive, encourage them to go to counseling, encourage them to go to AA or Gamblers Anonymous. They have these 12-step programs that they can go to celebrate recovery. So you want to just kind of link up with somebody in the community to see what's available for you, so that you can be on the right path to healing. And so please like and share the video, subscribe to my page if you have not, and thank you for watching.